What is up, guys? Hey, how you doing? What's up, Wing Chun? What's up, Forrest the cat? Venom Smoke. How's it going, Venom? Hey, Llama Queen. Dr. Egg Boy. How's it going? Greek Yogurt, Raymundo. Okie dokie. What's up, Okie dokie? Hey, Hope. Glad you could join. What's up, Lash? Hey, Katie. Glad you could join. You're excited to see how badly I'll do on Africa? It's going to be a disaster. Cheetah Knight. What's up? How's it going? You're not late. You're just on time. Neo Riptix Carl. How's it going? Peepzilla. Anya. How's it going? Kimberly Gaston. Hey, there's a member in the chat. What's up? How's it going? VIP. You say like shadow. I say what like shadow? What's up, Crystal? All right. Hey, Nikki. How's it going? Okay. Do we, wait, I say your name like Shadow? Chada Knight? Shadow Knight? How is that? Shadow Knight. Okay. How is that spelled? How does that spell shadow? I don't understand. All right. We'll get right into it. All right, Wordle, and then the Africa quiz. Okay, Africa test. It's gonna be bad. All right. We'll do this in 2 minutes. Okay, it'll be really quick. Stomp. Ooh, good start. Good start. Rut. Rutar. Oh, sounds like something. Rugrat. Wait a minute. Runat. Rucat. No, I don't think that's a word. Ruhat. Ruwat. Okay. Not a word. Rufta? Rolta? No. Maybe T. Tubar. Tunar. Fubar. Tukar. Tugar. Too far. Tabra. Tolra. What the hell is this word? Rate. Rule. Rural. No. Ruler. No, there's an A. Runner. Run at. Rivet. Rut. Rucka? Rule? Oh no, why is this so hard? Rumba. Maybe it doesn't start with any of those. A-R-T. Oh, Luart. Newark. Court. Court! 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 Oh! So good. Third try. Guys. I'm a genius. That took like 3 minutes. Not bad. Did anyone get it? Whoa, Losh, you got it. Sutra, that's a good guess. Okay, okay. All right. Geography, okay. All right, so we finished all of the all of the continents. All right, now the final boss, Africa. All right, this is my first time. Okay, I know like 4 countries in Africa. So we're shooting for 10%. We're shooting for 10%. All right. It's just all right. It's gonna be bad. I have no idea. Ghana is not these. Here. Okay, that's Ghana. Libya is. This is Egypt. This is Libya then. No. Is this Libya? Or is this? Oh, fuck. Angola beats me. Okay, Angola. Ethiopia is... This is Somalia, right? So this must be Ethiopia. Nice. Madagascar. Algeria is here. Okay, well. Hey, good guess. Ivory Coast. Ah, it's somewhere here on the coast. Is this Morocco? This is Morocco, right? Not this. Ivory Coast is... Let's try this one. Nope. Nope. Oof, close. Rwanda. Malawi. Oh, God. Okay, good guess. Nigeria is somewhere up here, right? Niger is here, so here. Sudan. Okay, yeah, no. Okay. Kenya. Oof. Burundi. What the hell? Wait, how do you pronounce this? Guinea-Bissau. Should we try one of these islands? Okay. Seychelles. Oh, that's where all the billionaires go, right? That must be, that's an island, I think. Oh, so close. Mauritius. Make more African friends. Mauritius. Oh, Jesus. Cape Verde. Oh, so it must be along the coast? But where? Oh, God. Zambia. This continent is so big! Lesotho. There's so many countries. Okay, Lesotho is in the middle of South Africa. Guinea? Ah, I should know where this is. But I don't. Guinea? Zimbabwe? Oh, God. Tunisia? No idea. Alright. Oh, you're hiding there, are you? Oh, Congo. Oof. Is it? Wait. This is Democratic Republic of the Congo. There's a different one. There's a Republic of the Congo. Right next to it. Okay. Egypt. I know that. South Sudan. This is Sudan. This must be South. Smart. Big brain. Botswana. Oh, God. Western Sahara. All right. Sahara is here. So it must be somewhere here. How? Okay. Democratic Republic of the Congo. Equatorial Guinea. All right. Somewhere along the equator. Oh, that is the equator. Senegal. Is that an island? I don't think so, right? Okay. Burkina Faso. Jesus. What a colorful continent. True. Burkina Faso. All right. Well, yep. Mauritania. No idea. Don't know. Oh, it's so big. Mozambique. All right. This is just first try, guys. It's first try. Next week will be the real deal. Somalia is here. Uganda. Okay. Morocco. Okay. Niger is here. Sao Tome and Principe. Yeah. Is it this one? Gambia. Sierra Leone. Cameroon. Where's Cameroon? Chad. Oh, pff. Togo's. Oh. That's where Togo's came from. Namibia. Yep. Okay. Gambia. Comoros? That's an island. Ooh. Djibouti. I learned about Djibouti in French class. I just don't know where it is. Where is Djibouti? Show me your Djibouti. Okay. Tiny. The tiny Djibouti. Benin? Okay, well. Gabon. Chad. Eritrea. That sounds like a fantasy land. The fantasy world, like Narnia. Eritrea. Is it this one? Okay. Oh, Eswatini. We just saw that. Mali is here. Sierra Leone is one of these. Fuck. Liberia. Central African Republic. Oh, nice descriptive name. All right, 37. All right, not bad. Not bad. Better than 10%. Okay. All right, 37%. Okay. We'll do better next week. What a colorful continent. All right. Do you guys want to do the guessing in Asian? Guess the Asian again? I think we did pretty badly last time, but I think we can do better. If I can find another site. Guess the Asian. I think we did this one, right? Yeah, we did this one. Let's find another one. Is it racist to play? Oh, we don't want flags. No, we want just faces. faces. Oh, okay, that's pretty good. All right, it's a little bit easier than the other one. There's only 3 choices. All right, Korean, right? Must be. Has to be. Wait. Okay, it won't tell us until the end. Fuck. This is Japanese, right? Japanese. Chinese. Korean? Chinese. Korean? Japanese? Oh no. This is too hard. Korean, Chinese. Korean? Japanese. Chinese. This guy's Chinese, right? Or Japanese. Oof. Chinese. Chinese. Oof. Japanese. The eyes. I think. Ooh, this is hard. You're smiling too hard. Chinese. Japanese. I think. From the north. They look a lot Chinese, but I might be mistaking them. They might be Korean. There's a lot of Chinese. Oh, this is really hard. Korean? Japanese? Korean? Japanese. Oof. Korean. No. No. Oof. These are really hard. These are harder than the last quiz. I'm gonna say Korean. Yo. Korean. Yo, Japanese. Oof. Chinese? Okay. Go with your gut. Japanese. Japanese. Chinese? Korean? Korean? Very bad. Obviously, you can't tell the difference. Okay. Bruh. This is Chinese. What did I guess? Oh, I guessed Japanese. Did I? Oh, I forgot. All right, we got this one right. This is Japanese. I think I said Korean. Chinese, okay. What did I say here? I didn't say Korean. Now he looks very Korean. You knew number 3 was Japanese, okay. She's Chinese. Oh, she's Chinese. We got that right. This guy's not Chinese. No, this guy is Chinese. Oh, this guy, I thought he was Japanese from the north. She's Korean. I said she's Chinese. Japanese, got that right. This guy's Japanese, fine. Korean, got that right. He's Korean? No, I can see it. I can see it. She's Korean. Okay. Anyways. All right, before we start food today, I think there's a little bit of mochi. Why is it the 3 whitest Asians only? Ooh. Hmm. Just tastes like sugar. Chewy sugar. Oh no. No, there's a little bit of flavor in it. Kind of a pinkish flavor. Feels like hanami. But nothing special. It's like a 6 out of 10. Yeah, it's not mochi. It's this chewy, jelly, chewy thing. Okay, so obviously I can't tell the difference between Asians. Oh well. All right. All right. What happened last week in our story? All right. So, last week, our hero Qiao Feng and Aju, they decide to go find this elder Shu of the Beggars clan, right? To question him because they want to figure out the identity of the leader of that expedition that they had a long time ago, that killed Qiao Feng's father. So yeah, they go find this Elder Shu, but when they get there, it turns out Elder Shu has died. Now, which is pretty strange. Okay, and people are like attending his funeral. But then Xiao Feng notices the Granny Tan and Zhao Qiansun. They're sneaking off together, right? This is like two people, like the two people in that love triangle of Granny Tan, Grandpa Tan, and this Chao Qiansun guy. So Granny Tan and Chao Qiansun, they sneak off together. But they're not doing anything like untoward, so not having an affair. But Chao Qiansun just wanted her to sing for him. Qiao Feng sees this and he captures them, but they refuse to reveal the identity of that leader, right? So he leaves them paralyzed and he goes and finds Grandpa Tan and tells him what's up. Now Grandpa Tan is mad that his wife is secretly meeting with this dude. So Qiao Feng leads Grandpa Tan back to the paralyzed couple. He's hoping to blackmail Grandpa Tan to get the secret out of him. But when they come back, they see that Granny Tan and Chao Qiansun had died. Someone murdered them. All right. And so Grandpa Tan, of course, thinks it's Qiao Feng who murdered them. And he runs off with his wife's body. But he also dies. I think he committed suicide, I believe. It was kind of vague in the book. But I think he committed suicide. Next, Xiao Feng and Aju, they try to find the impartial judge Shan Zheng. All right, so they're finding people who might know the identity of that leader. But when they get there, it turns out he and his whole family have just died due to a fire. Right. Good news is that we have less characters to remember, but it seems like someone is one step ahead of them, like killing people who know of the identity of that leader of the expedition. So they quickly travel to the last person they know who knows the identity of that guy, which is the monk Qi Guang, who's luckily he's still alive. They meet this monk, and the monk tells Qiao Feng his real last name is Xiao. So he's now Xiao Feng. And yeah, instead of Qiao Feng. And that's where we left off. How's that? Dum, 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 dum. Please make a video about the yokai Honengyo. What is that? Honengyo. Fish or amphibian yokai. Ooh. Wait, is this Godzilla? Oh no. Looks like Godzilla. Okay, I'll look into it. Oh, you guys can't see my screen. Apparently this is a Honengyo. Seems to be Godzilla. All right. Chapter 21. Part 2. Okay, so they're meeting with this monk, Ji Guang. Ji Guang nodded and said, "Pray, be seated." After the three of them had sat firmly on the chairs, Pojer, which is one of the monks, one of his attendant monks, I think, brought tea out. Seeing that the appearances of the two had changed and that Aju had turned into a girl, he was exceedingly surprised. However, he did not dare to ask anything due to his master's presence. Ji Guang continued, "On the stone wall outside of Yanmen Pass, your father left behind a piece of writing, calling himself Xiao Yuanshan. In the writing, he called you Feng. We retained your name, but because we entrusted you to Qiao Shanghuai for nurture, you had to go with his surname." Tears streamed down. So now he knows his real last name. Tears streamed down Jiao Feng's face. He stood up, saying, "I've never known my father's surname until today. It's all thanks to Dashi's favor that I know it. Please accept a bow of mine." As he finished saying this, he bowed down. Aju also stood up. Ji Guang put his palms together to return the salute and said, "How can it be called a favor?" The national surname of the Liao Empire was Yulu, and the surname of the empresses of successive Liao dynasties had always been Xiao. Because the Xiao clan had been the clan of empresses from generations to generation, it had had a lot of generals and officials in the imperial courts, and in the Liao Empire it enjoyed great ascendancy. So the Liao Empire is the Khitans, right? So this would be Xiao Feng would belong to the Liao Empire if his dad hadn't died. At times when a Liao emperor was too young, a Xiao empress dowager would assume power and make the clan even more powerful and influential. When Xiao Feng suddenly knew that he himself was from a great Khitan clan, for a period of time all sorts of feelings welled up in his heart, and he was in a trance for a long time. Then he turned to Aju, sighed, and said, "From now on, I'm Xiao Feng, and not Qiao Feng." Aju said, Yes, great master Xiao." Ji Guang said, "Hero Xiao, you've most probably seen the words left behind on the stone wall outside of Yanmen Pass, haven't you?" Xiao Feng shook his head, saying, "No, I haven't. When I arrived at the outside of Yanmen Pass, the words on the stone wall had already been scraped off completely by someone. There was no trace left." Ji Guang gently let out a sigh and said, the matter was well in the past. The words on the cliff could be scraped off, but how could these several tens of people be brought back to life? He took out from his sleeve a very large piece of cloth, saying, Xiao Shiju, this is a rubbing of the writing left behind on the cliff. Xiaofeng trembled with fear. Shiju is like a name. I don't know exactly what it means, but it's the name that a monk would call a normal person. Someone in the chat explain what it actually means. And the Liao lasted a millennia and became one of the great houses of the inner sphere. Ah, Mech Warrior fan. I used to read those books back in the day. Nice. Xiaofeng trembled with fear, received the large cloth, and opened it. He saw that. Okay, so now we get to see what the writing is. Ooh. He saw that it was made of many rags of clothes stitched together. All the words on the cloth were white, hollow ones. The strokes were strange. They looked very similar to Han characters, but he did not know a single word. Xiaofeng knew that it was the Khitan language. However, the strokes were powerful and sturdy, looking like saber chops and axe hacks. That day, Jiguang had said that this piece of writing had been engraved on the rock by his father just before his death. Xiaofeng's vision could not help getting blurred, and his tears streamed down and fell onto the cloth drop by drop. He said, Dashi, could you interpret it, please? Jiguang Dashi said, At that time, after we had made a rubbing, we asked several who knew the Khitan language inside of Yanmen Pass to explain it. Several people all said the same, so most probably they were correct. Xiao Shiju, this line of words says, Fenger is exactly 1 year old. I and my wife were going to my mother-in-law's house to attend a banquet. On the way, suddenly we encountered the Southern Dynasty's bandits. Hearing this, Xiaofeng felt an ache in his heart. He heard Jiguang continue. Things happened quickly. My wife was killed by the bandits, making me lose the desire to live on in the world. My master in martial arts is a Han in the Southern Dynasty. I once took a vow in front of him that I would never kill Han people. But today, unexpectedly, I've killed more than 10 of them. I'm both ashamed and sorrowful. After my death, I won't have the face to meet my kind master. Xiao Yuanshan's last words. Oh no. So his dad was just visiting mother-in-law's house to attend a banquet. His dad actually learned martial arts from someone in the Han Dynasty. Sorry, someone in the Southern Dynasty, which is the Song Dynasty. So his master is a Han, not a Khitan. So because his father killed killed a bunch of Han people, he's ashamed and sad, and then and also his family died, so that's why his dad committed suicide. Shiju means giver or donor, because monks rely on people's donations. Therefore, anyone who's not a Buddhist monk is a Shiju. Gotcha. Thanks, Lush. After Jiguang finished, Xiaofeng respectfully received the large cloth which had the rubbing, saying, These are the last words left behind by my predecessor. Dashi, please bestow it on me. I should respectfully give it to you. Xiaofeng's mind was in chaos. Wait, so do we call him Xiaofeng or Xiaofeng now? This translator is not being not being consistent. Xiaofeng's mind was in chaos. Thinking of his father's sorrow at that time, he understood that his father had jumped off the cliff to commit suicide, not only because of grief at the miserable death of his mother, but also because he had broken a vow by killing many Han people and felt ashamed of it before his school. Jiguang slowly uttered a sigh and said, At first, we only thought that your father was leading Khitan warriors to Shaolin Monastery to rob sutras. Only after we studied the writing on the stone wall did we know that it was a misunderstanding, a huge mistake. Your father was already determined to commit suicide, so there was no reason for him to leave false words to deceive other people before his death. If he had been going to Shaolin Monastery to rob sutras, why was he taking along a lady who didn't know the least bit of martial arts and was embracing a baby of just over 1 year of age? After the incident, we investigated the source of this news about a Shaolin Sutra robbery. It turned out that it came from the mouth of an ignorant, absurd person. This person deliberately played a trick on the leading big brother and wanted him to rush thousands of li about to make fun of him. Xiao Feng said, "Oh, so it was only to play a joke. What happened to this absurd person?" Definition of sutras? Yeah, it's Buddhist scriptures. That's what a sutra is. Jiguang said, after finding out about the truth, the leading big brother was very angry, but that absurd person had already run away. No one knew where his whereabouts. From then on, he has disappeared into thin air. It's been 30 years since that incident. Perhaps he is no more in the world. Qiao Feng said, Dashi, thank you very much for letting me know about the cause and the aftermath of this incident, making Xiao Feng become a new man. I only want to ask you about another matter. Jiguang asked, Xiao Shizhu, what do you want to ask? Who is this leading big brother, after all? Jiguang said, I've heard that Xiao Shizhu has killed 4 people. Elder Shu of the Beggars clan, Grandpa Tan, Granny Tan, and Zhao Qianxun to investigate this matter. And you've killed the whole family of impartial Judge Shan Zheng, then burned the Shan family's manor to the ground as well. I expected that sooner or later you would come to this place. Please wait for a little while. This old monk is going to show you one object. As he finished saying this, he stood up. When Xiao Feng was about to explain that he had not killed Elder Shu and the other people, Jiguang had already turned around and then walked into the rear hall. After a while, Monk Pojer walked into the parlor and said, My master invites the 2 of you to the meditation room to talk. Following him, Xiao Feng and Aju passed through an alley which ran in the shade of dense bamboos to arrive at the front of a small house. Monk Pojer pushed the door open, saying, Please. Xiao Feng and Aju walked in. They saw Jiguang sitting cross-legged on a bulrush mat. He smiled at Xiao Feng, extended his finger, and wrote on the floor. The floor of this small house had not been swept for a long time, hence there was a thick layer of dust on it. They saw him write on the dust, All things are the same, all creatures are equal. Sages and animals are treated evenly. Han or Khitan is reality and also fantasy. Kindness, enmity, honor, and disgrace are all mere dust. Very Buddhist. As he finished writing this, he slightly smiled and closed his eyes. Looking at the 8 sentences on the floor, Qiao Feng was entranced, thinking, from a Buddhist viewpoint, not only are humanitarians and villains the same, but there is also no difference between animals, hungry ghosts, emperors, and generals. So whether I'm a Han or a Khitan is really not worth mentioning. But I'm not a Buddhist. How can I be detached like this? So he said, Dasher, in the end, who is that leading big brother? Please, tell me. He asked several times, but Jiguang only smiled without replying. When Xiao Feng fixed his eyes on Jiguang, he could not help but jump out of his skin, because he saw that despite having a smiling expression, the monk seemed to be stiff and motionless. Xiao Feng called out Jiguang Daishi a few times, but still the monk did not make any movement. Hence, he stretched out his hand to check his breathing. It turned out the monk's breathing had already stopped. He had already passed away. Xiao Feng was so sad that he was speechless. He knelt down and bowed several times. Then he waved to Aju, saying, "Let's go." So the monk died. I think he killed himself. How can monks do that? They can just stop their breathing. They can just sit down and kill themselves. All right, bells for the monk. So it looks like this monk too. He would rather die than reveal the identity of that leader to Xiao Feng. So who is this leader? It seems to be a very important person that everyone is trying to protect. The two of them went quietly out of Jiguang Temple. Crestfallen, they returned to Tiantai County seat. When they had gone for more than 10 li, Xiao Feng said, "Aju, I had no intention of harming Jiguang Dashi. Why did he gotta make himself suffer like this? This eminent monk understood the world thoroughly and was greatly enlightened, so life and death were the same to him. Can you guess why he knew that we were going to Jiguang Temple? I think that it's a deed of that prime villain again." I think so too. This prime villain told Jiguang Dashi in advance that we were going to find him to take revenge. Jiguang Dashi thought that he wouldn't be able to escape from my murderous hands, so after that conversation with us, he immediately took poison to commit suicide. Crestfallen? Crestfallen means like really, really sad. Really, really super sad. Here we go. Sad and disappointed. Downhearted. Disheartened. Dispirited. Dejected. Depressed. The two of them looked at each other and did not say anything for a long while. Aju suddenly said, "Great Master Xiao, there's some undue words that I would like to say. Please don't take any offense at them." Xiao Feng said, "Why do you need to stand on this kind of ceremony? Of course, I don't mind them." "I think those words that Jiguang Dashi wrote on the floor are very reasonable. Han or Khitan is reality and also fantasy. Kindness, enmity, honor, and disgrace are all mere dust. In fact, it doesn't matter if you're a Han or a Khitan. Is there any difference between them? Perhaps you're already tired of living by the tip of the saber in Jianghu. It'd be better to go to the outside of Yanmen Pass, to go hunting and do pasture, and from now on pay no attention to the kindness, enmity, honor, and disgrace in Wulin in the Central Plains." Xiao Feng let out a sigh and said, "I'm tired of this business, which involves struggling for survival on the tips of the sabers already. It'll really be a lot happier to go to the prairies in the north of the Great Wall, to gallop on horseback, set free eagles, release dogs, chase rabbits, and from now on have no worry. Aju, will you come to see me after I've returned to the north of the Great Wall?" Aju blushed and said in a low voice, "I said do pasture, didn't I? You'll gallop on horseback and go hunting, and I'll put cows and sheep out to pasture." As she said this, she lowered her head. Even though Xiao Feng was a straightforward man, he understood clearly the implication of these several sentences of her. Who wouldn't understand? All right. She's been hinting that like a million times. She meant that she wanted to live together with him in the north of the Great Wall for life and would not return to the Central Plains again. Originally, Xiao Feng saved her merely because of the mettle of the moment. Only after she went to the outside of Yanmen Pass in pursuit of him, then went together with him to Weihu, Taiyan, and Tiantai, rushing about thousands of li, did he feel that she was very tender and amiable. At this moment, hearing her express her feelings, he could not help but be moved, so he put out his bulky palm and held her small hand, saying, "Aju, you treat me so well. Don't you detest and reject me because of my lowly Khitan origin?" Aju replied, "The Han are human. The Khitan are also human. How can one be high and the other be low? I like to be a Khitan. This is my heartfelt desire. There's not the least bit of constraint imposed on me." As she said this, her voice became as low as the buzzing noise of a mosquito and almost inaudible. Very happy, Xiao Feng suddenly grabbed her waist and threw her up in the air while she was falling. Whoa. Okay. While she was falling down, he gently caught her and put her on the ground. He then looked at her with a smiling expression and said loudly, "Aju, from now on, you'll follow me to ride on horseback and go hunting and pasture cattle and sheep. You will never regret this?" Aju adopted a stern countenance, saying, "Even if I was following you to commit murder, arson, and robbery, I would never regret it. Even if following you meant to experience various sufferings and all kinds of torments, I would still be glad. I would still be glad about it." Xiao Feng said loudly, "Once I, Xiao Feng, have today, needless to say, I don't like to be reinstated as the beggar clan's chief. Even if they were to ask me to be the emperor, I wouldn't care either. Aju, let's not go to Xinyan to find Madame Ma. It won't matter if she is willing to tell us or not. This is the last person that we're gonna find." After a question, he said, "Let's go, not let's not go." So he wants to go to find Madame Ma. So this is the last person. "This is the last person that we're gonna find. After a question, we're gonna leave for the north of the Great Wall to go hunting and pasture cattle and sheep." Oh, how cute. Probably not gonna happen. Probably not gonna happen. Aju said, "Great Master Xiao." Xiao Feng said, "From today on, don't call me Great Master, Second Master, or anything like that. You call me Big Brother." Totally blushed, Aju said in a low voice, How can I deserve it?" Okay. Yeah, so Big Brother is a term of endearment, right? It's not actually Big Brother. Xiao Feng said, "Are you willing to call me so?" Aju smiled and said, "Extremely willing, but I don't deserve it." Xiao Feng laughed and said, "Now you try calling me so one time then." Aju softly said, Big Brother." Ha 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 ha. Xiao Feng laughed loudly and said, "That's right. From now on, I, Xiao Feng, am no longer alone and despised as a lowly barbarian, because at least in the world there's a person. There's a person." For the moment, he did not know what he should say. Aju continued, "There's a person who deeply respects you, admires you, appreciates you, and is willing to stay by your side forever and through all eternity, to endure misfortunes, humiliations, dangers, and tribulations together with you," she said very sincerely. I feel like they're making vows. Oni-chan. There you go. True. Xiao Feng let out a long volley of laughs, which echoed throughout the valley. Thinking that Aju had said she would endure misfortunes, humiliations, dangers, and tribulations together with him, he felt grateful to her, because even though she knew clearly that there would likely be a lot of trials in the future, she was still willing to put up with them with no regret. And so 2 streams of tears rolled down on his cheeks, even though he was having a smiling expression. The house of the former vice chief of the beggars clan, Ma Da Yuan, was located in Xinyang village, Hunan. From Mount Tiantai to Jiangnan to Xingyang, Xiao Feng and Aju would have to travel thousands of li, and this was not a journey that they could finish in one day. Ever since the 2 of them had opened their hearts to each other on Mount Tiantai, they had found themselves very attached to each other. On the way, they rode the horses slowly and saw that the natural scenic views were large, wide, and totally charming. Aju was not good at drinking wine, but in order to make Xiao Feng happier, she always forced herself to drink several cups of wine with him, which made her lovable face become rosy, making her look even sweeter. At first, Xiao Feng was full of indignation, but thanks to Aju laughing and talking to him, and wittily joking with him nonstop, most of his grief and indignation disappeared. In this northward journey from Jiangnan to the Middle Land, to the Middle Kingdom, Middle Land is the ancient name of Henan. His state of mind was very different than it had been when they had been hastening to Shandong from Yanmen Pass. Sometimes Xiao Feng recalled and felt that this thousands of li journey was hazy, just like a great series of dreams. At first, there had been continuous nightmares, but towards the end, they had become nice dreams. Were it not for the delightful, lovable little girl Aju at his side, he really would wonder if he was still in a dream. She gets the Asian glow. Yeah, true. I do too. After like one shot, I would, you would see a glow on my cheeks. In the apricot forest at Juxian Manor those days, Madame Ma's words. Remember, Madame Ma is the wife, is the widow of Ma Da Yuan, who died. Right? Ma Da Yuan, who was the vice chief of the Beggars clan. So she's the one who accused Xiao Feng of killing her husband. Madame Ma's words and expressions had been full of hostility towards Xiao Feng. Even though Xiao Feng had been very unhappy at those times, after those incidents, he thought that because she had lost her husband and firmly believed that he himself had killed him, it was normal for her to abominate himself. And if she did not hate him, it would be unreasonable. He also thought that because she was a widow who did not know martial arts, if he threatened her, his hero status would be lost, let alone asking her by force. Hearing Aju ask so, he could not help hesitating and did not know how to reply. After being at a loss for... Wait, reply from what? Oh, how should we inquire, Madame Ma? After being at a loss for a while, he said, I think we'll have no choice but to ask her amicably, and hope that she'll be reasonable and no longer wrongly accuse me of killing her husband. Aju, it'll be better if you go talk to her. Is that okay? You're clever in your words, and both of you are female. I'm afraid if she sees my face, she'll be full of hatred, and everything will immediately come to a standstill. Aju smiled, saying, I have a plan, but I'm afraid you'll think that it's not good. Xiao Feng hastily said, What is the plan? You're a great hero, a real man, so you can't extort the truth from her, but how about letting me trick her? Xiao Feng happily said, It'd be the best if you can trick her into revealing the truth. Aju, days and nights I've been hoping that I'll be able to personally cut the prime murderer of my father to death. I'm a Khitan, so his exposure of my true origin was a thing that should be done, as it allowed me to know who my ancestors are. I should have been very grateful to him. But why did he kill my foster parents? Kill my master, force me to harm my friends, bear infamy, and become the enemy of the heroes in the world. If I can't chop him into pieces, how would I be able to put myself at ease and ride on horseback, go hunting, and pasture cattle and sheep with you for life? Towards the end, his voice became louder and louder. For the past few days, his expression was no longer gloomy as before. Despite that, however, his hatred towards the prime villain had not yet diminished in the least. So the prime villain is the unknown person who's been framing him. Aju said, This prime villain has maliciously done you so much harm. I only hope that I'll be able to slash at him several times to help you vent your anger. After capturing him, we'll also arrange a great banquet for heroes and extraordinary people in the world and explain the injustices you've suffered in front of everyone to restore your clear reputation. Xiao Feng sighed and said, That's not necessary. By killing so many people at Juxian Manor, true. I've caused a deep hatred of me in the world's heroes, and I'm not asking for forgiveness from other people either. I, Xiao Feng, only hope to put a stop to this matter, to give myself peace of mind. Then I and you will gallop to the north of the Great Wall, and become friends with tigers, wolves, cattle, and sheep for life, and never see these heroes and brave men of the Central Plains again. Aju happily said, "Thank heavens for that. That's what I've been eager for." She smiled, saying, "Big brother, I want to disguise as a person and trick Madame Ma into revealing the name of the prime villain." Having a disguise is, like, knowing how to disguise yourself seems to be a pretty good skill. Xiaofang slapped his thigh and cried, "Yes, yes! Why haven't I thought of this? Nothing can be better than your masterful disguising skill in dealing with this matter. Who do you want to disguise as?" "I would need to ask you about that. When Vice Chief Ma was still alive, who in the Beggars clan was he friendliest with? I'm gonna disguise as this person, thinking that this is her husband's close friend. I think Madame Ma won't hide the truth." Xiao Feng said, Oh, the people closest to Brother Ma in the Beggars clan are Captain Wang, Chang Guanqing, and Elder Chun. Besides, he had a deep friendship with the Elder of Rule Enforcement, Bai Shijing, too. Aju made a sound and tilted her head to recall the appearances of these people. Xiao Feng continued, "Unlike me, who am fond of drinking and roughhousing, Brother Ma was a calm and prudent man, so he rarely drank or talked with me. Chang Guanqing and Bai Shijing have similar personalities so they often studied martial arts together." "I don't know who Captain Wang is. The jute bag of Elder Chun's is full of poisonous snakes and scorpions. I got goosebumps as soon as I saw it. My disguising skills can't make me look like him. Chang Guanqing has a very tall frame, so it'll take quite a while to disguise as him. I'm afraid if I stay in Madame Ma's house for a long time to slowly and tactfully sound her out, I'll give myself away. It'd be better if I disguise as Elder Bai. He talked to me several times at Juxian Manor, so imitating him is the easiest." Jute bag? Jute? I assume jute is some type of plant. Yeah, jute is like some plant, I believe. Jute? Daha! It is. Jute. A long and soft, shiny bast fiber that can be spun into coarse, strong threads. Produced from flowering plants in the genus Cocorus. Jute rope. Okay. Can we see a jute bag? Oh, you can buy them, apparently. Yo. $133. If you say so. Oh, how do you pronounce it? Jute. Jute. Dictionary?
Jute. Jute.
Okay, so she's gonna disguise as Elder Bai Shijing. Xiao Feng smiled, saying, "Elder Bai treated you very well and tried his best to ask Divine Dr. Xue to cure your injury. Wouldn't it be wrong to disguise as him to deceive other people?" Aju laughed and said, "I'll disguise as Elder Bai not only to do good and not to do evil or harm his reputation." They immediately disguised in a small inn. Aju changed Xiao Feng into a 5-bag disciple of the Beggars clan, who would be considered to be Elder Bai's attendant. She told him to speak as little as possible for fear that Madame Ma was meticulous and would recognize the flaws. Xiao Feng saw that after disguising herself as Elder Bai, Aju had a frosty face, which looked solemn even without being angry. This was really the elder of rule enforcement that was awed by tens of thousands of beggar clan disciples from the north to the south. Not only did she bear a close resemblance to Bai Shijing, her behavior and words were also exactly the same as those of his. Xiaofeng and Bai Shijing had been friends for almost 10 years, yet he was unable to see any difference between his appearance and Aju's disguise. The two of them went to Xinyang. On the way, when Xiaofeng saw Beggar's clan disciples, he would use the clan's argot to talk with them and ask about movements of the leading people of the society. He also made public that Elder Bai had arrived in Xinyang to let Madame Ma know about their visit in advance. As long as she already had first impressions of it in her mind, even if there were flaws in Aju's disguise, she would not be able to recognize them. Ma Dayuan's house was in the western suburb of Xinyang and was 30 li or so away from the city. After asking local Beggars clan disciples about the way to get there, Xiaofeng and Aju went to the Ma family. They deliberately went slowly and stalled. Only at dusk did they arrive. During the day, everything could be seen clearly, so their disguises might have been recognized easily. But in the evening, everything looked indistinct, so it would be easy for them to trick Madame Ma. When they arrived at the outside of Ma Dayuan's house, they saw a brooklet go around 3 small tiled houses. Besides the houses were 2 weeping willow trees, and in front of them was a piece of flat ground, which looked like a drying ground of a farmhouse, but there was a pit at each of its 4 corners. Very familiar with Ma Dayuan's martial arts, Xiaofeng knew that Ma Dayuan had normally used these 4 pits to practice his skills. He could not help feeling sad, because now they had been separated by life and death. When he was about to knock on the door, suddenly there was a grinding noise. The door was opened, and a woman walked out in a full-length white mourning dress. She was Madame Ma. Uh-oh. I think Madame Ma is very young compared to her dead husband. So she's young. She's very young and beautiful, I believe. Madame Ma cast a glance at Xiaofeng, then bowed to Aju in salute, saying, "Elder Bai's exalted presence at this humble house is really beyond my expectations. Please come in for some tea." Aju said, Dime, younger sister-in-law. "There's an important matter that I must consult with you, so I've come here without being invited. Please forgive me." With her whole body being covered in a white mourning dress, Madame Ma's expression resembled a smile, yet she was not smiling, and the corners of her mouth had a trace of hidden bitterness. In this moment, the sun, which was setting towards the back of the mountains, was illuminating her face with a dull yellow light. Meeting her this time, Xiaofeng was not stirred up as 2 times before. He saw that even though there were vague wrinkles at the corners of her eyes, and she was around 35 or 36 and not wearing makeup, her complexion did not seem to be less white and delicate as that of Aju's. The two of them immediately followed Madame Ma into the house. They saw that the hall was rather small. There was a table in the center, and on both sides of the table were put 4 chairs, so there was very little space left. An aged maid-servant brought tea out. Then Madame Ma asked Xiaofeng's name. Aju conveniently made up a name for him. Madame Ma asked, "Elder Bai, I'm wondering what you want to instruct me in this exalted visit." Aju replied, "Elder Shu passed away in Wei Hui. Dime must have heard about it." So Dime means younger sister-in-law. Madame Ma suddenly raised her head. With a strange expression in her eyes, she said, "Of course I know about it." Aju said, We all suspect that Chao Feng killed him. After that, the three seniors, Grandpa Tan, Granny Tan, and Chao Qian Sun, were also killed outside the city of Weihui. Then the Shan family of impartial judge in Taiyan, Shandong, was burned to the ground. Not long ago, while going to Jiannan to investigate a matter involving a seven-bag disciple that violated the clan's rules, I received a message on the way that old monk Qi Guang of Qi Guang Temple on Mount Tiantai had suddenly passed away too. Madame Ma trembled all over and her face changed color, saying, This this was also done by Qiao Feng? Aju said, I personally came to Jiguang Temple to investigate. Though I couldn't get any results, it's 9 out of 10 that it was a deed of this fellow, Qiao Feng. I've expected that his next step will most likely be troubling you, so I've hastily come here to advise Dime to take refuge somewhere else for about a year to avoid Qiao Feng's assault. With tears welling up in her eyes, Madame Ma said, Ever since Master Ma was unluckily murdered, it's become pointless for me to live on in this world. If that fellow surnamed Qiao wants to harm me, he'll be most welcome. Why the need to seek refuge somewhere else? Dime, why do you say that? Brother Ma hasn't been avenged, and the murderer hasn't been captured. There's a heavy burden on you. Where's Brother Ma's immemorial tablet? I should give a bow to him. I dare not accept the honor. But still, she conducted the two of them to the rear hall. Aju took a bow first, then Xiao Feng respectfully kowtowed to the memorial tablet. Inwardly, he prayed, Big Brother Ma, if you have supernatural powers after death, today you should induce your wife to say the name of the real murderer, so that I can avenge you and get rid of the injustice you suffered. All right. Give me 5 minutes, okay? 5-minute break. I'll be right back. And we back. All right. So they're at the residence of Madame Ma. They're meeting with her. They're in disguise. And they're trying to suss out who the killer of Ma Da Yuan is. Let's see what happens. Madame Ma knelt down beside the memorial tablet to return the salute, tears rolling down on her cheeks. After kowtowing, Xiao Feng stood up. He saw that there were several elegiac couplets hung in the morning hall, among which were the ones presented by Elder Shu and Elder Bai, but the couplet he himself gave her was not hung there. The pieces of white cloth in the morning hall had accumulated dust, adding to the gloomy atmosphere. Xiao Feng thought, Madame Ma has no child. There's only an aged maidservant beside her every day. It's really hard for her to pass the time during these lonely days. Definition of elegiac? What the hell is that? I have no idea. Elegiac couplets. What can that be? Elegiac. Elegiac. What kind of word is that? Maybe memorial? Memorial couplets? Like poems? Oof. Elegiac. Let's go with memorial. Or, yeah. Hmm. Elegiac. Elegiac. Relating to or characteristic of an elegy. Elegy. A poem of serious reflection, typically a lament for the dead. So just wait. So a poem? I guess. Yeah. So it's like a poem.
Elegiac.
Elegiac. Okay.
Elegiac. Elegiac.
I still don't understand. Okay. So an elegy. Oh, so okay. An elegy is like it's like a poem for the dead. So elegiac is like it's an adjective of that. All right, fine. Yeah, well, I was never gonna get that. Damn it. All right, that's a song. That's one song, you bastards. Should I stay or should I go? I think I sang that already. I sang that once. He heard Aju console her with patronizing but tactful words, such as, Dreamer, you should take care of yourself. Brother Ma's score is everyone's score. If you have any difficulty, just tell me. I'll certainly help you. He secretly praised, This little girl's imitation is perfect. The beggar clan's chief was expelled, the vice chief is dead. Elder Shu was murdered, and the elder of merit propagation was killed by me. So Elder Bai now has the most revered position. The tone of a chief that she uses in conversation really matches her status. Madame Ma thanked Aju, but her tone sounded very cold. Xiaofeng felt worried. He saw that she was very bored, and her expression was desolate. Perhaps because her husband had passed away, she no longer had any joy in life. He was afraid that she might commit suicide to follow her husband. This woman had an unyielding temperament, so she was capable of anything. Madame Ma invited the two of them back to the guest hall. Before long, the aged maidservant set the table for dinner. There were 4 dishes: green cabbage, turnip, tofu, and cucumber. All were vegetarian dishes. Also, there were 3 bowls of steaming hot cooked rice, but there was no wine. Aju cast a look at Xiaofeng, thinking, No wine for you tonight. Staying calm and collected, Xiaofeng lifted up a rice bowl and ate. Madame Ma said, After my late husband passed away, this widow has become a vegetarian. This isolated residence doesn't have any meat, fish, or wine. I'm sorry for treating the two of you in this cold manner. Aju sighed and said, Brother Ma has died and cannot come back to life. Dime, you don't need to make yourself suffer. Seeing that Madame Ma was so loyal to her deceased husband, Xiaofeng exceedingly respected her. After the dinner, Madame Ma said, Elder Bai, you came here from afar, so I should ask you to stay, but it's inconvenient for a widow like me. I'm wondering if you still have something to instruct me. Her tone hinted that she wanted the guests to leave. Aju said, I come to Xinyang this time to advise Dime to leave your house to avoid danger. Do you have any plans? Madame Ma let out a sigh and said, That fellow Xiao Feng murdered Master Ma. If he comes to kill me, it'll only be as good as ordering me to follow Master Ma to the underworld. Even though I'm a weak woman, to tell you the truth, when I'm not afraid of even death, I'm not afraid of anything. Aju asked, Does that mean Dime is unwilling to take refuge somewhere else? Elder Bai, thank you very much for your kindness. This little woman is really unwilling to leave Master Ma's house. At first, I wanted to stay around here for a few days to protect Dime, though I'm definitely no match for that fellow Qiao Feng. In case of emergency, I'd be able to lend a helping hand. But on the way, I heard a very important secret message. Madame Ma said, Oh, it must be extremely important. It goes without saying that women are always very curious. Hence, when hearing about an important secret, they will certainly be pleased to know about it, even though it may not it may have nothing to do with them. Even if they say that they are not interested, their expression will always show that they really want to know. Is that true? I feel like you can say that to for men also. Who could have expected that Madame Maz was still indifferent? It looked like it did not matter to her if Aju said it or not, because her husband was already dead. Thus nothing in the world could stir up her mind. Xiaofang thought, they always compare the heart of a widow to a withered plant or a cold ash. That expression is best used with Madame Ma. Aju waved. You want me to sing I Feel Like a Woman? Oh God. Are you sure you want to hear that? Aju waved to Xiaofeng, saying, You wait for me outside. I have some secrets to tell Madame Ma. Xiaofeng nodded and walked out of the house. He secretly praised Aju's smartness because he knew that if one wanted other people to reveal their secrets, he must reveal his own secrets first to make them trust him. He understood that Aju dismissed him because she wanted to earn Madame Maz's trust and to express that this matter was so secret that not even a trusted subordinate was allowed to hear. He walked out of the main door. It was dark and quiet outside, and he could only hear the vague tinkle coming from the kitchen. The aged maidservant was washing dishes. He immediately went around the corner of the house, then squatted down beside the window of the guest hall and held his breath to listen. Even if Madame Ma did not say the name of that man, as long as she revealed some clues, he would still have something to investigate, which would be better than the present, when he was totally at a loss. Moreover, this time Elder Bai had shown his kindness first by going thousands of li to give her an alarm. Moreover, this time Elder Bai had shown his kindness first by going thousands of li to give her an alarm. And when he was about to leave, he talked about an important secret matter. He was also the head of the clan, so it was unlikely that Madame Ma would hide something from him. Only after a long time did he hear Madame Ma sigh softly and ask in a quiet voice, Why do you come here again? Afraid of spoiling the overall situation, Xiaofeng did not dare to rashly stick his head out to look into the guest hall through the window, but he felt surprised. What does she mean by this sentence? He heard Aju replied, I really heard the message that Xiaofeng wanted to harm you, so I came to tell you. Oh, thank you very much for your kindness, Elder Bai. Aju lowered her voice and said, Dime, ever since Brother Ma unfortunately passed away, some elders of our clan have remembered his contributions and wanted to invite you to come out of your seclusion to hold an elder post. Hearing her say this in a very cordial manner, Xiaofeng could not help secretly laughing, but he praised that this was a very good idea, because if Madame Ma accepted it, Elder Bai would immediately become her superior, and then when he asked something, she would not be able to refuse to answer, even if she did not accept it to be an elder. Knowing that the beggar's clan had high regard for her, at the very least she would be happy for a while. He heard Madame Ma say, What kind of virtue and ability do I have to be an elder of our clan? I'm not even a disciple of the clan. The post of an elder is too high for and too far away from me. I and the people, such as Elder Wu, have done our utmost to recommend you. Everyone said that if Madame Ma also gave some ideas, it'll be much easier to capture Qiao Feng. I also got a very important message that is closely related to the murder of Brother Ma. Madame Ma asked, Really? Her voice still sounded rather indifferent. Aju replied, "That day, at the memorial ceremony for Elder Shu in Weihui City, I met Zhao Qiansun. He mentioned a matter to me, saying that he knew who the real murderer of Brother Ma was." Suddenly, there was a bang. A teacup had been broken into pieces. Madame Ma uttered an exclamation, then continued saying, What are you joking about?" Her voice was extremely angry, but it also sounded somewhat panicky. Aju said, "This is an serious, important matter. How can I be joking? That Chao Qiansun really told me in person that he knew who actually killed Brother Ma Dayuan. He said that it was definitely not Xiao Feng, nor the Murong clan of Gusu, but he knew absolutely that it was another person." Madame Ma said in a quavering voice, How could he know? How could he know? You're talking nonsense. Isn't it unreasonable?" "It's true. Don't worry. I'm gonna slowly tell you." Chao Qiansun said, "Last year in the 8th month," when she had not yet finished, Madame Ma let out a sound of exclamation and passed out. Aju hastily cried, Dime, Dime, and used force to press on the philtrum between her nose and her upper lip. Madame Ma slowly regained consciousness. She complained, Why did you need to scare me?" "I didn't scare you. That Chao Qiansun really said so. It's a pity he's already dead. Otherwise, I'd be able to call him here to testify. He said that on the mid-autumn day, in the 8th month last year, Grandpa Tan, Granny Tan, and that murderer of Brother Ma celebrated the festival together in the house of that leading big brother." Madame Ma uttered a sigh and asked, Did he really say so?" Aju said, "Yes. I asked who the real murderer was, but he said that it was inconvenient for him to say this person's name. I went to ask Grandpa Tan. He angrily stared at me and didn't say anything. Granny Tan said that it was totally correct, and it was her who told Chao Qiansun about it. I don't blame Grandpa Tan for getting angry. He must have gotten mad because his wife told Chao Qiansun everything, and Chao Qiansun was unwilling to say the name of the murderer because he was afraid that he would get his old lover Granny Tan involved in this." Madame Ma asked, "Oh, so what?" Aju said, Chao Qiansun said everyone suspected that Xiao Feng and Mu Rongfu killed Brother Ma, but let the real murderer go unpunished and walk around at will. If Brother Ma knew about this in the underworld, he would suffer a wrong and feel bitter about it. Madame Ma said, "Yes, it's a pity that Chao Qiansun is already dead. Grandpa Tan and Granny Tan didn't tell you the truth, did they?" Aju replied, "They didn't. When things have become like this, I have no choice but to go ask the leading big brother." Madame Ma said, "Good. You should go ask him." Aju said, "It's really laughable to say, but I don't know who this leading big brother is and where his house is." Madame Ma said, "Oh, so you've beaten around the bush to tactfully ask me about the name of this leading big brother? Ooh, she's smart." "If it's unsuitable, there's no need for Dime to tell me. I may think of a way to find out about him myself. Then we'll find the real murderer and make him pay for his crimes." Xiao Feng knew that Aju was pretending that she did not care in order to not make Madame Ma suspect, but still he could not help feeling exceedingly anxious. He heard Madame Ma say indifferently, "The name of this leading big brother certainly must be concealed from other people, so that Xiao Feng wouldn't know about it and find him to avenge his parents' deaths. But Elder Bai is on our own side. Why should I hide it from you? He is. She lowered her voice while saying the words, "he is," then became silent. Oh, do we get to know? Xiao Feng seemed to be able to hear even his own heartbeats, but all along he did not hear Madame Ma say the name of that leading big brother. After a long time, he heard her softly sigh and say, "The moon in the sky is so round and so bright." Xiaofeng knew clearly that the sky was being shrouded in dark clouds, and there was no moon, but he still looked up, thinking, "Today is the second day of the month. Even if there was a moon, in no way would it be round. What does she mean by saying those words?" He heard Aju say, "On the 15th day, the moon will naturally be round and bright. Alas, but too bad Brother Ma won't be able to see it again." Madame Ma said, "You like to eat salty mooncakes or sugary ones?" Xiaofeng found this even stranger, thinking, after the death of her husband, Madame Ma's mind has become somewhat dim. I don't think that's what's happening. Aju said, "We're beggars. How can we be picky in eating mooncakes? If we couldn't find the real murderer and settle this big score for Brother Ma, not to mention mooncakes, even the dainties of every kind wouldn't taste any good." We got so close, guys. Madame Ma remained silent. After a long while, she coldly said, "Elder Bai wholeheartedly only wants to find the real murderer and avenge his brother Ma Da Yuan. That makes this little woman feel very grateful." Aju said, "It is what a person in my position should do. Who among the tens of thousands of the beggar clan disciples doesn't think of settling this score?" Madame Ma said, "This leading big brother has a revered position and a great reputation, and he can mobilize tens of thousands of people with a word. What he likes the most is sheltering his friends. If you go ask him who the real murderer is, he'll be unwilling to say so regardless." Xiaofeng felt happy in his heart, thinking, "Come what may, it's been a worthwhile trip to us. Even if Madame Ma doesn't say the name of that person, basing on this, has a revered position and a great reputation, and he can mobilize tens of thousands of people with a word sentence. I can always guess who he is. How many people are there in Wulin having this kind of status?" While he was pondering about who this man was, he heard Aju say, "Previously, in Wulin, the Beggars clan chief could mobilize tens of thousands of people with a word. Oh, there's Shaolin disciples all over the world, so the abbot of the Shaolin school can mobilize tens of thousands of people with a word too." Madame Ma said, "You don't need to guess carelessly. I'm going to give you another clue. You must go southwest." Aju, Aju muttered to herself, "Go southwest. Does the Southwest have any VIP? It seems not." Madame Ma extended her finger, and with a pai sound, she tore the window's paper. The hole was just above the top of Xiao Feng's head. He heard her follow that by saying, "This little woman doesn't know martial arts, but Elder Bai, you must know who is the best at this skill under heaven." Aju said, this is an acupuncture point. Blocking skill, isn't it? The diamond finger of Shaolin School and the soul-seizing finger of the Zheng family in Cangzhou, Hebei are the most formidable ones." Xiaofeng cried in his mind, "Wrong, wrong. Among acupoint blocking skills, the Yi-Yang finger of the Duan clan in Dali is the number one under heaven. Besides, she said the southwest. Oh, Dali is in the southwest. Who could he be?" Sure enough, he heard Madame Ma said, "Elder Bai is experienced and knowledgeable. How could you not guess correctly? Could it be that after your journey you've become so fatigued and woozy that you've forgotten even the famous Yi-Yang finger?" Her tone was rather derisive. Aju said, "Of course I know about the Yi-Yang finger of the Duan family, but the Duan clan is the sovereign imperial clan in Dali. They haven't had any contact with the Wulin of the Central Plains for a long time. If you say that there's a connection between the leading big brother and them, it must be a false rumor." Madame Ma said, "The Duan clan has royal authority in Dali, but there's not only one person in the clan. The people who are not the emperor have often visited the Central Plains. This leading big brother is the younger full brother of the current emperor of Dali. His surname is Duan, and given name Changchun. He was conferred on with the title South Stabilizing Prince." So Duan Zhengchun is Duan Yu's father. Okay. Which is the younger brother of the emperor of Dali. Dun dun dun. Hearing Madame Ma say the three words Duan Zhengchun, Xiao Feng could not help shaking all over, because finally he already knew the name which for the past several months he had rushed about thousands of li and tried his best to find out about. Pervy daddy. Yeah. Pervy daddy. He heard Aju say, "This Prince Duan has a revered status and a lot of power. How could he take part in the fighting and killings in Jianghu?" Remember, Aju likes Duan Yu, right? Remember, they met before? So it seems like she's kind of defending the Duan family. Madame Ma said, "Of course, Prince Duan disdains to get involved in the common fighting and killings in Jianghu, but if it was an important matter that was related to the rise or fall, the existence or disappearance of Dali, do you think he would concern himself with it or not? Do you think he would concern himself with it or not? Wait. Do you think he would concern himself with it or not?" Aju replied, "Sure, he would take part in it. I heard Elder Shu say the Great Song is the northern wall of Dali. Once the Khitan destroys Great Song, the second step would be nothing but swallowing up Dali. Because Great Song and Dali are closely related and mutually dependent, like the lips and teeth, Dali is definitely unwilling to let Great Song be ruined at the hands of the Liao Empire." Aju said, "Yes, your words are correct." Should we look up the map again? Song Dynasty. So here's Liao. Here's Dali. So they're saying once the Liao Empire conquers Song, then Dali is next. Madame Ma said, "Elder Shu said that year this Prince Duan was being a guest at the headquarters of the Beggar's clan. While he and Chief Wang were drinking and discussing martial arts with each other, suddenly they heard that Khitan warriors were coming to Shaolin in great force to rob sutras. Because of his sense of honor, Prince Duan couldn't refuse to lead everybody and rush to the outside of Yanmen Pass to intercept them. In name, this deed of his was for the sake of the great song, but in fact it was for the sake of Dali. I heard that at that time this Prince Duan was still young, but he excelled in martial arts and was very benevolent and righteous. In Dali, he is below only one person and above all the others. He uses money as if it is dirt. Other people don't need to open their mouths. He can conveniently give his friends hundreds or thousands of taels of silver. If he hadn't led the martial arts users of the Central Plains, then who, you think, would have? Someday in the future, he'd become the emperor of Dali. With such exalted status and the others being ordinary people, how could they order him around?" Aju said, "So the leading big brother is the south-stabilizing prince of Dali, and everyone would rather die than say his name only to protect him." Madame Ma said, "Elder Bai, you must not tell this secret to a second person. Prince Duan and our clan have a deep friendship. If this information leaks out, there will be a huge disaster. The Duan clan wields great power in a region and is very formidable, but if Qiao Feng deliberately seeks revenge and waits in the dark for 8 or 10 years, it'll be hard for Duan Zhengchun to deal with him." Aju said, "Di Mei, you're right. I'll keep my mouth shut like a bottle and in no way reveal it." "Elder Bai, it'd be best if you take an oath so that I can be at ease." "All right. If Bai Shi Jing tells anyone..." Nice oath. Good job. "All right. If Bai Shijing tells anyone else that Duan Zhengchun is the leading big brother, Bai Shijing shall suffer at the disaster of 10,000 cuts and lose all reputation and become the laughing stock for the whole world. Her oath sounded very serious, but in fact, she was very crafty and pushed everything to Bai Shijing. The person who would suffer 10,000 cuts was Bai Shijing. The person who would lose all reputation was Bai Shijing, and it had nothing to do with Aju herself. Hearing that, Madame Ma seemed to be very pleased, saying, "This is good." "Then I'll go to Dali to pay a visit to the South stabilizing prince, then indirectly mention last year's Mid-Autumn Festival, and ask about who were in his mansion at that time. Then we'll be able to find out who really murdered Brother Ma. But at the moment, I still firmly believe that it's Qiao Feng. Qiao Qiansun, Grandpa Tan, and Granny Tan are three dimwits. Their words aren't very dependable." Madame Ma said, "Elder Bai, I beg of you to find out the truth about the murderer." "Brother Ma and I are just like full brothers. I'm certainly going to do my utmost." Her tears dripping down, Madame Ma said, "Elder Bai is so serious about friendship. If my late husband could know about this in the underworld, he would certainly be very grateful." Aju said, "Jime, you take care of yourself. I shall take my leave." After bidding farewell, she immediately went out. Madame Ma said, "This little woman is a widow, so it's unsuitable for me to see you off far. Elder Bai, please forgive me." That's fine, that's fine. Jime doesn't need to stand on ceremony." After coming outside, Aju saw Xiao Feng standing and waiting in the distance. The two of them exchanged a look, then, silent as the grave, went straight along the road. The crescent new moon shone on the road leading back to Xinyang. The two of them went side by side. Only after going 10 li or so did Xiao Feng let out a long breath and say, "Aju, thank you very much." Aju smiled indifferently and did not say anything. Even though her face was full of wrinkles, she was in disguise as Bai Shijing, from the look in her eyes, Xiao Feng still sensed that her mind was being filled with worries. He asked, "Today we're highly successful. Why aren't you happy?" "I'm thinking that the Duan clan in Dali has many people and great power. If you go there to get revenge by yourself, it'll be extremely dangerous." "Oh, so you're worrying about me. Don't worry, I'm in the dark and he's in the light. If I can get revenge in 3 to 5 years, then just like what Madame Ma said, I'll wait for 8 to 10 years. There'll be one day when I chop Duan Zhengchun into 17 or 18 pieces to feed dogs." Speaking up to here, he could not help but grind his teeth, showing all the enmity that filled his bosom. Aju said, "Big brother, you must be careful." Xiao Feng said, "Of course I will. It's not important if I die, but if I can't avenge the deaths of my parents, I won't be able to die with my eyes closed." He slowly stretched out his hand and pulled her hand, saying, "If I die at the hands of Duan Zhengchun, who will pasture cattle and sheep with you outside Yanmen Pass?" "Alas, I'm always very worried. I feel that there's something wrong in this matter. Madame Ma, that Madame Ma, she looks so pure and noble, but when I saw her, somehow I felt scared and disgusted by her." Define enmity. Enmity means like if you have like a conflict, like a where's enmity? Like if two groups have enmity with each other, that means like they have a conflict, they have some unresolved feud or issue. Ouch. Whoops. Enmity. Yeah, they have a hostility towards each other. Xiao Feng laughed and said, That woman is very smart and capable. You were afraid that she discovered that you were in disguise, so it was unavoidable that you felt scared. After the two of them had returned to the inn in Xinyang, Xiao Feng immediately ordered 10 jin of wine to carouse to his heart's content. He continuously calculated in his mind how to get revenge. Thinking of the Duan clan in Dali, he involuntarily recalled the new sworn brother, Duan Yu, and could not help shivering with fear. Yeah, remember, he's sworn brothers with Duan Yu. So is he gonna kill Duan Yu's father? In a trance, he raised the wine bowl but did not drink, and the expression on his face greatly changed. Thinking that he had detected something, Aju looked around, but she did not see anything unusual, so she asked in a low voice, Big brother, what's wrong? Startled, Xiaofang said, No, nothing. Then he raised the wine bowl and tossed it off. When the wine reached his throat, suddenly he choked and coughed and spewed wine onto the clothes that covered his chest. His drinking capacity was rare in the world, and his internal energy was profound, so choking while drinking was something that had never happened. Aji was secretly worried, but it was unsuitable for her to ask much. She did not know that while drinking, Xiaofeng suddenly remembered the drinking contest between himself and Duan Yu in Wuxia City. That day, during which the opponent had used the high-level internal energy of the Six Meridians Divine Sword to force the wine out through the fingers. Xiaofeng himself knew that he could not match this kind of extraordinary skill in internal energy. Duan Yu obviously did not understand martial arts, yet his excuse me. Duan Yu obviously did not understand martial arts, yet his internal energy was already so unusual. As the leader of the Duan clan in Dali, that big enemy, Duan Zhengchun, had to be 10 times as good as Duan Yu. And so, how could Xiao Feng get revenge for the deaths of his parents? He did not know the adventures through which Duan Yu had coincidentally obtained his extraordinary skills and absorbed the internal energies of other people. In terms of internal energy alone, Duan Yu was already many times better than his father. As for the Six Meridians Divine Sword, at the present time, no one other than Duan Yu was capable of using them all. Both Xiaofeng and Aju knew Duan Yu very well, but Duan was the national surname of Dali, just like the surname Chao in Great Song, the national surname Li of Western Xia, and the national surname Yelu of Liao. Hence, there were tens of thousands of people with this surname. Duan Yu had never mentioned that he was a prince of Dali, and thus Xiao Feng and Aju did not expect that he was a descendant of the emperor. Even though Aju did not know what Xiao Feng was thinking in. Wait, hold on. Am I dumb? Does he? He does know Duan Yu is from the royal family, right, of Dali. Uh, so why is he thinking here that Duan Yu is obviously did not understand? Why is he thinking that Duan Yu is really powerful, so Duan Zhengchun must be super powerful when they could just be not related? Does he know? He doesn't know. Oh, okay. Then why is he comparing Duan Yu to Duan Zhengchun? Just because they have the same last name? Okay. Okay, so he doesn't know Duan Yu, so he doesn't know that he wants to go kill his sworn brother's father. Okay, gotcha. Even though Ah Ju did not know what Xiao Feng was thinking in detail, she guessed that he was worrying about how to get revenge. So she said, Big brother, getting revenge is an important matter and can't be done in one day. We should plan before taking action. Even if the enemies are numerous and we are few, if we can't win by force, don't tell me that we can't win by wits. So you're saying if he thinks a commoner from Dali is already this strong, imagine the prince? I guess, but there could be like strong people anywhere, right? I don't know. Like Duan Yu could just be a really strong guy. Okay. Yep, whatever. Xiao Feng was happy, thinking that Aju was sharp and crafty, really a great assistant. He immediately poured a bowl of wine, tossed it off, and said, I won't live under the same sky with the enemy that killed my parents. To settle this score, there's no need to care about any custom and morality in Jianghu, and any means is usable, regardless of its viciousness. That's right, if it's impossible to win by force, we'll beat him by strategy. Aju nodded. Big brother, besides your parents, you must also avenge your foster parents, Old Master Qiao and Old Madam Qiao, and your master venerable Xuan Ku. Xiao Feng held out his hand and gave the table a hit, saying loudly, Yes, there's not only one score, but many. When you learn martial arts from Venerable Xuan Ku in the past, you must have been still young, so you haven't learned all the profound internal energy techniques of Shaolin School. Otherwise, even if the Yi Yang finger of the Duan clan in Dali was more formidable, it wouldn't necessarily be superior to the muscle changing sutra by Damo, the old ancestor of Shaolin School. I once heard old Master Murong discuss martial arts in the world, and he said that the most fearsome skill of the Duan clan in Dali was not the Yi Yang finger, but something called Six Meridians Divine Sword. Xiao Feng frowned, saying, Yes, Master Murong is a wizard in Wulin. His words are really insightful. What I was worried about just now was not the Yi Yang finger, but this Six Meridians divine sword. That day, while old Master Murong and Mr. Murong were discussing martial arts in the world, I stood on one side to pour tea and heard several sentences. Old Master Murong said, each of the 72 elite skills of Shaolin School has. Wait. I should do it in his voice, right? Old Master Murong said, Each of the 72 elite skills of Shaolin School has its own excellence, but to defeat the enemy and win the battle, only one skill is already enough. There is no need to use 72 skills. Xiao Feng nodded, saying, What Senior Murong discussed is very true. Aju continued, At that time, Mr. Murong said, Yes, Jiumu, which is maternal uncle's wife. Yes, Jiumu Wang and Biao Mei, which is younger female cousin. Oh god. Like to boast that they know many martial arts in the world, but what's the use of being a jack of all trades and master of none? Old Master Murong said, Speaking of the word master, it's easier said than done. In fact, the only truly elite skill of the Shaolin School is the muscle-changing sutra. As long as this sutra is successfully practiced, any skill, no matter how ordinary it is, can become a marvel from rubbish in the hands of the user. When a user had a good basis and a powerful internal energy, they would be able to unleash enormous power despite using only ordinary stances. Xiao Feng certainly understood this matter deeply. That day, when he fought the heroes at Juxian Manor, using just the founder's long fist, a set of martial arts that was known to everyone, he was able to battle many heroes and brave fellows in the world, and make all the first-class experts there helplessly admire him. Now, after hearing Aju relate Master Murong's words, he could not refrain from drinking 2 big bowls of wine continuously, and saying, "He understood my heart. He understood my heart. It's a pity Master Murong has already passed away. Otherwise, I'd definitely go to his manor to meet this wizard of the world." Aju smiled charmingly, saying, "When old Master Murong was still alive, he never met any stranger, but you'd certainly be an exception." Xiao Feng raised his head and smiled, knowing that the words, "you'd certainly be an exception," meant to say, "You're my intimate darling, so Master Murong naturally would regard you with special respect." Seeing the look in his eyes, Aju could not refrain from lowering her head. Her cheeks reddened, but in her young heart, she secretly felt happy. Xiao Feng drank another bowl of wine and asked, "Old Master Murong wasn't very old when he passed away, was he?" "Around 50 years old. He couldn't be considered old." "Oh, with his profound internal energy, the age of 50 was when his martial arts reached the peak of perfection. How could he suddenly pass away?" Aju shook her head, saying, "The old master died from some illness. All of us didn't know anything. He died very fast. In the morning, he suddenly fell ill. And in the evening, the young master wailed loudly and came out to tell everyone that the old master had died." "Oh, I wonder what the violent illness he suffered is. What a pity, what a pity. What a pity divine Dr. Sui wasn't around there at that time. Otherwise, you should have invited him at any rate, and he would have been able to save Master Murong's life." He had never been acquainted with the father and son of the Murong clan, but after hearing other people mention their words, deeds, and natures, he could not help but rather admire them. Aju's connection with them made him feel closer to them and value them even more. Aju continued, "That day, old Master Murong discussed the muscle-changing sutra with the young master. He said, 'I've never seen the muscle-changing sutra created by Damo, the old ancestor, but judging from the way of martial arts, the great reputation that Shaolin School has enjoyed should come from this muscle-changing sutra. It's impossible to say that those 72 elite skills are not formidable, but it can't be said that you can become the leader of the world in martial arts thanks to them.' The old master especially warned the young master that he wasn't allowed to be overconfident about the martial arts that had been handed down by their ancestors and to make light of Shaolin's disciples, because when there was already this sutra in the monastery, maybe the talented bright monks would be able to master it." Xiao Feng nodded in approval, thinking, The Murong clan of Gusu is famous in the whole world, yet they aren't arrogant. This is hard to come by. Aju said, "The old master also said that all his life he had looked at almost all martial arts under heaven, but it was a pity he had never seen the sword manual of the Six Meridians Divine Sword of the Duan clan in Dali and the muscle-changing sutra of Shaolin School, and that was unavoidably a great regret of his life. Big brother, old Master Murong already mentioned these 2 martial arts in the same breath. Guessing from this, if you want to deal with the Six Meridians Divine Sword of the Duan clan, it seems you must start with the muscle-changing sutra of the Shaolin School. If we can steal the muscle-changing sutra from the Bodhi Institute of Shaolin Monastery and put effort in practicing it for several years, then I think we wouldn't need to be worried about that 6 Meridians Divine Sword or 7 Meridians Demonic Saber." As she said to her expression resembled a smile, yet she was not smiling. Xiao Feng rose, laughing and saying, "Little imp, it turns out you..." Aju laughed and said, "Big brother, at first I stole this sutra to give to the young master. After reading it, he would incinerate it in front of the old master's grave to fulfill his father's desire. Now I give it to you." As she finished talking, she took out an oilcloth packet and put it in Xiao Feng's hand. All right, so remember, she disguised as a monk and she snuck into the Shaolin school. It was to steal this muscle changing sutra, right? And she did. Right, we saw that monk reach into like a secret cubby hole or something, and take out a sutra, or some a book or something. Well, it turns out that it's this muscle changing sutra. Like, I guess it's the best martial arts of the Shaolin school. So now she has it, and she's giving it to Xiaofeng. That night, Xiaofeng saw with his own eyes that she disguised as monk Ji Qing and stole. Okay, so they're telling us what I just said. That night, Xiaofeng saw with his own eyes that she disguised as monk Ji Qing and stole the sutra from the copper mirror in the Bodhi Institute, but he could never have expected that it was the secret internal energy manual, muscle changing sutra of the Shaolin school. When Aju was captured by the extraordinary fellows at Juxian Manor, thinking that she was a female, they did not search her body. As for the high-level Shaolin monks such as Xuanqi and Xuannan, even in their dreams they could never have expected that the lost sutra of their monastery was on her body. Xiaofeng shook his head and said, "You took a huge risk and narrowly escaped death to deal this sutra from the Shaolin monastery with the original intention of giving it to Mr. Murong. How can I seize it for myself?" "Big brother, you're wrong about this," Xiaofeng asked in surprise. "How can I be wrong?" "I stole this sutra all on my own, and not because I received an order from Mr. Murong. I can give it to anyone. Moreover, after you've read it, it still won't be late for us to give it to Mr. Murong. You bear an absolute irreconcilable grudge against the murderer of your parents. To get revenge, one can do any sinister, cruel, despicable, or dirty thing. Why are you still fussy about borrowing a sutra to have a look?" Hearing these words, Xiaofeng was awestruck and startled. He made a deep bow to her, saying, "Xuanmei," which means virtuous younger sister. He made a deep bow to her, saying, "Xuanmei, you're right in criticizing me. How can a person who's dealing with important matters keep worrying about trivial things?" Aju puckered her lips and smiled, saying, "As a Shaolin disciple, it's only reasonable for you to use Shaolin martial arts to avenge your master. What's wrong about it?" Xiaofeng continuously commended her. He felt both grateful to her and happy. Wasting no time, he opened the oilcloth packet and saw a booklet whose paper had turned yellow. There were several sinuous, bizarre characters written on the cover of the booklet. He cried inwardly, "No good!" When he turned to the first page, he saw that it was filled with words, but these words were crooked. Some had the shape of a circle, some had the shape of a hook. He did not know any of them. "Ai yo," uttered Aju, and said, "So it's totally in Sanskrit." "Boo." "What a bad luck. I originally wanted to burn the sutra as a sacrifice to the old master. As a maid, I shouldn't read it before that. That's why after the sutra came to my hands, I never dared to open it and take a look. Alas, no wonder those monks let me steal their sacred martial arts manual without paying any attention. It turns out no one understands the sutra." As she finished, she let out a deep sigh, sounding very dispirited. Xiaofeng consoled her. "There's no need to worry too much about gain and loss." Then he put the muscle-changing sutra back into the packet and returned it to Aju. "Isn't it the same if you keep it? Don't tell me that there's still a difference between us." Wait, why did I say it that way? "Don't tell me that there's still a difference between us." Xiaofeng smiled and put the packet in his bosom. He poured another big bowl of wine. When he was about to drink again, suddenly he heard footsteps outside the door. Then someone snarled loudly. Slightly surprised, Xiaofeng rushed out of the door. He saw a big fellow who was covered with blood from head to toe on the main street. The fellow was holding two broad axes and was brandishing them up and down chaotically. And we're done. All right. Did you guys like that chapter? All right. So we find out from Madame Ma that the leader of that expedition back then was none other than Duan Zhengchun, who's Duan Yu's father. Okay, and now Xiao Feng wants to go and kill Duan Yu's father. And now, but he's afraid that Duan Zhengchun is really powerful. So luckily, Aju had stolen this super secret sutra from the Shaolin school. Unfortunately, it's in Sanskrit, so they can't read it at the moment. So yeah. All right, what are we singing? What are we singing? I feel like a woman. I don't know, fam. Are you sure you want to hear me sing that? Ugh.